I want to go right to our guest. It's an honor to have the Vice President in waiting, really, is the way I see it. Paul Ryan, how are you, my friend?
Hey, great one. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing terrific. How are you enjoying yourself, first of all?
You know, actually, I'm really enjoying it. The crowds are huge and enthusiastic. People are telling me, oh, this thing is going to drain you. It's going to sap you of your energy. It's totally the opposite. It's energizing. So, you know, we just did a rally in Virginia today in Roanoke where, you know, Obama gave those gaffes about you just build it.
Yeah.
Then we went over in North Carolina, in Raleigh, and I'm on my way to Fayetteville right now. So it's been fantastic.
Well, now, I want to ask you, as a side point, and you probably don't know, I mean, there's a hurricane that may be heading for Tampa. Who figures all that out? The RNC, what to do?
You're as good as mine. I was just talking to my buddy Steve King, our national committeeman from Wisconsin, and he was just telling me the whole lowdown on that. So, you know, I don't know exactly what the plans are, but they tell me that you know, it's in pretty good shape, and they got a plan in place.
Look, we can always meet in my basement. It's almost big enough for all the delegates. Let me tell you that.
Sounds good.
Now, by the way, I want to get to some things because there's a lot of distorting going on here. What is the core of your education plan for the nation?
Well, number one, our education plan is dealing with the interest.
We're getting a bad connection. Just shift the phone a little bit.
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Now I can.
Oh,
yep.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm holding over by the window. I'm just on the highway here.
There we go.
The core of our education plan is to put parents back in charge. We respect federalism, respect states' rights, but do what we can to deal with the interest groups, namely the teachers' unions, that are standing in the way of parental control and choice in education. And for adults, people who've lost their jobs, who are mid-career, you know, we have 47 different job training programs spread across 7 different government-floated agencies, and we don't even really measure whether they work or not. Consolidate all of that so that people can get not a bureaucracy, but get a scholarship to go back to school and get good skills to get back into a job for the 21st century. So it's local control, parental control, choice, and stop standing in the way of these kinds of innovative education reforms that, you know, say Scott Walker in Wisconsin or Bobby Jindal in Louisiana are putting in place. Be an enabler and a facilitator of those kinds of bold reforms, and don't try and block them like the Obama administration did.
And, you know,
stop the D.C. school choice program. I mean, there's an issue where the federal nexus is very clear. And President Obama stood in the way of the poor inner-city kids in D.C. from having their parents get the choice to send them to a school that actually works.
And you're from the state, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and frankly, our group litigated part of that case with Polly Williams and Governor Tommy Thompson. School vouchers, school choice. I mean, it seems to me we need to have more of that kind of activity, particularly in the metropolitan areas and the inner cities where we pour an enormous amount of money into these schools, and it's just not working effectively. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Look, Milwaukee is the perfect story about how these ideas work. I was with Bobby Jindal just the other day, who was showing me how much they can get a kid through a voucher, a much better school, much better education for a whole lot less money than bureaucracy is consuming today. Throwing more money is not the issue. It's having competition and choice is the issue, and getting these kids in these poor inner cities out of these traps of poverty and into decent schools that their parents can send them to. And that means you got to stand up to these interest groups that are blocking that. And Scott Walker did it, just like Tommy Thompson did in Wisconsin. I saw Bobby do a great reform that he's in the middle of delivering on right now. And there are governors across the country. Bob McDonnell's doing the same thing in Virginia. Jeb Bush worked on this in Florida. You know, the laboratories of democracy are proving that educational choice is working, and that is what I would argue is probably one of the big civil rights issues of our time.
Can you succinctly tell us what the Romney-Ryan economic plan is to try and liberate this economy for small businesses, all businesses, economic opportunity, wealth creation, job creation? Because on the other side, all we hear about are these crony capitalist projects, more taxes, more government. What is the Romney-Ryan plan?
It's a reversal of Obamanomics. It is cut spending, get the deficit and debt under control, stop the regulatory juggernaut, which is picking winners and losers in the economy from central bureaucracies, bad regulatory reform, clean up this tax system, get rid of loopholes, lower tax rates for everybody, trigger economic growth. Get energy from this country because we have energy in this country, all of the above. Coal, natural gas through fracking, oil, nuclear, all of it, all of the above. Get trade agreements that work for us so we can make more things in America, grow more things in America, sell them overseas. The skills issue we just discussed on education for people K through 12 and above. And we've got to basically send the signal that we're not going to have a mountain of uncertainty plaguing the economy the first of the year, but a liberation. The idea is growth, it's opportunity, and it is not to look at people who are successful in society with envy or resentment, but with pride. We're happy when people are successful in America. We want more people to be successful in America. The job of government is not to fix the pie and redistribute the slices of the pie. The job of government is to protect our natural rights, to promote equality of opportunity, so that entrepreneurs, small businesses, the American people can grow the pie, and we can have growth and opportunity. That is what the Romney-Ryan administration is going to do from day one.
Now, Paul Ryan, I mean, shouldn't we be trying to learn from successful people, holding them up as examples of how things can get done in this country?
I just did a rally at SMT Manufacturing, owned by a really neat lady and her two daughters who run this family business. They, like 80% of American businesses, file their taxes as individuals. In her case, she's a subchapter S corporation. They're working hard. They're a metal fabrication and coating business. They have 80 people that work there. They work really hard. And President Obama wants their top tax rate to go above 40% in January. You know, the Canadians just lowered their tax rate on all their businesses to 15%. How on earth are American companies and manufacturers going to compete against our foreign competitors when we're taxing our job creators at much higher tax rates than our foreign competitors do, as Obama would have you do? He wants to divide this country into classes, divide people by preying on the emotions of envy, resentment, fear, anxiety, hope and change to become attack and blame. We're not going to fall for that. We're proud of success. We're proud of pro-growth economics. We're going to do that. And I really believe, Mark, from the bottom of my heart, we can trigger an American renaissance. We can get this economy turned around. We can get people back to work. We can get people in good jobs, higher take-home pay with careers, and we can be the port in the storm, the global economy. But if we follow European economics, which is clearly what President Obama, the path he's put us on, we'll find out very quickly we'll get European results. And so the president can't run on this failed record. 23 million people looking for work, struggling to find a job. 1 in 6 Americans in poverty. It doesn't work. And he didn't change his tune. He went tactic far to the left. So the president's just going to try and distract. He's going to try and divide. He's going to distort and demagogue and try and win this election by default. And we're not going to fall for it. We're going to give the country a very clear, principled choice of two futures.
All right. Do we still have a connection? You still there?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're very good. I have 2 more questions. I want to get them in here. Succinctly put, what is the Romney-Ryan Medicare plan?
Stop Obamacare, which raids Medicare and puts our board of bureaucrats in charge of cutting it and price controlling it that hits current seniors. Repeal every inch of Obamacare and all the damage it does to Medicare. Don't make changes for people 55 or above. They already retired or they're about to retire. Keep that promise to them. In order to be able to keep that promise, you must reform it for my generation, those of us 54 and below. And the way we do it is just like members of Congress have, like a federal employee plan. It's a bipartisan solution where you get a list of guaranteed coverage options, including traditional Medicare to choose from. Medicare subsidizes your premiums based on who you are. More for the poor, more for the middle income, and the sick, less for the wealthy. Choice, competition, it works, it brings down costs, increased quality, and it stays in so we can keep the promise of Medicare for those who are in or near retirement who will experience no changes, which is a clear contrast to Obamacare, which raids Medicare and puts a new board in charge of price controlling Medicare, which will lead to denied care for current seniors.
I mean, the truth is Obamacare cannot survive at this. In other words, Obamacare and Medicare cannot simultaneously survive, really,
That's right.
can they?
He turns Medicare into a piggy bank to fund Obamacare. How many times have you heard people complain about how the Social Security Trust Fund was being rated to pay for all these other government programs? Well, that was never the case before with Medicare. It is now with Obamacare. When you pay your payroll taxes, next time look at your FICA tax. Those taxes are supposed to go to two programs, Medicare and Social Security. Now, because of Obamacare, they also finance Obamacare. Mm-hmm. That's wrong. We're going to repeal that. We're going to shore up Medicare so it's there, so people can count on it. In order to be able to do that, you must reform it for my generation so you can keep the commitment to the current generation and avoid a debt crisis and a bankrupt Medicare program.
All right, last question, because I know you need to go. Foreign policy. I am concerned. Red China is on the move, particularly in the South China Sea. They're also threatening Japan. They're threatening Vietnam. They're threatening the Philippines. Of course, they're always threatening Taiwan. Russia is back. It's getting, you can see
right.
Putin is becoming more and more authoritarian. They're hugely increasing their military activity. I even look in our own hemisphere. We have a number of communist regimes here. Nobody ever talks about it or focuses on it. And the Middle East is a complete mess. It's a disaster with no serious policy to help our ally Israel. Egypt's crumbling, from my perspective. We don't know which side to cheer for in Syria, from my perspective. What is the Obama foreign policy? It looks like anarchy.
Two things. Number one, the Obama foreign policy is to subjugate ourselves to the United Nations, which gives Russia and China a veto power at the Security Council. So we are giving these two countries you mentioned, these two powers, who do not share our values, undue, needless, unnecessary clout because we're running everything through the Security Council. That's point number one. Point number two, these reckless defense cuts that the president is promising in his budget and his lack of leadership to deal with these devastating defense cuts that are coming at the end of the year mean we will have a Navy that is so small we haven't seen it since the likes of the era of the 1917 time. That deals with the issue of the South China Sea or the Pacific. If we do not have a strong Navy, we cannot protect our interests globally. We cannot protect the sea lanes. We can't keep commerce going. We will create a void which will be filled by other nations that do not share our values, that do not share the notion of individual rights, individual freedom, and economic freedom. And so Obama's devastating defense cuts obliterate the whole entire notion of peace through strength. We will reverse that. We're serious about that. And we're not going to run everything through the UN, which gives these countries veto power over every little move we make. We believe in peace through strength. We believe in a strong national defense. We believe in forging stronger ties with our allies, and that combined with peace through strength means our adversaries respect us more and are not as willing to challenge us as much.
Well, we believe in trying to get you guys elected, and by as big of a margin as possible, winning the Senate, winning the House, because there's really no other way to start turning this around. I know you're not a magician. Romney's not a magician, but we got to start somewhere. We've got to start now, Congressman. I wish you the best of health and safety on the road, and you the best of luck, and just know tens of millions of people are behind you guys, okay?
Hey, I really appreciate it. That's what energizes me. People offering the prayers, their encouragement. We got 76 days to go. We can do this. We can turn this country around. We can get ourselves back on track. We can reclaim, liberty, freedom, and economic freedom for ourselves and our kids. Great run. You're pushing the cause. I want to thank you for that, and let's get it done.
All right. God bless, my friend. You take care.